Welcome to The Explainer. In any field, whether it's a tiny startup or a massive corporation, there's one skill that really separates the companies that grow from the ones that stagnate, and that's leadership. But it's a word we throw around a lot, and it's often misunderstood. So today, we're going to go way beyond the buzzwords. We are going to build a functional blueprint, deconstructing what it really means to lead, and give you the core components to build your own effective, authentic style.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to establish the why, the leadership imperative. Then, and this is a big one, we'll clear up a critical distinction, leadership versus management. From there, we'll lay down the foundation with a solid definition before we start building up with the 7 essential pillars. And finally, we'll look at how to master this blueprint and really bring it to life.
All right, let's dive right in. Before we can build anything, we have to lay the foundation. Understanding leadership isn't just some theoretical exercise. In today's world, it is a fundamental business imperative. So let's talk about why this matters so much.
It's the million-dollar question, right? We talk about leaders, we follow them, we try to be them. But in this incredibly complex, fast-paced world we're all operating in, what does it actually take to lead effectively? What is the secret sauce that separates the truly great from the people who are just, in charge?
The consensus out there is really clear. Great leadership is the engine. It's what aligns a company to its vision, motivates its people, and drives real, sustainable growth. And yet, for something so important, it remains this surprisingly fuzzy concept for so many organizations. And that's the gap we're here to close today.
Okay, now, to build our blueprint on solid ground, we have to clear away one of the most common and honestly most damaging misconceptions out there. Leadership and management are not the same thing. They are two totally distinct, though, equally important disciplines.
This slide just lays it all out perfectly. Think about it like this. Leaders are the architects. They're designing the future, they're focused on the what and the why. Managers, on the other hand, are the master builders. They're the ones executing that vision, focused on the how and the when. Leaders inspire change, managers ensure operational success. You absolutely need both, but it is crucial to understand which hat you're wearing at any given time.
So, with that huge distinction made, now we can lay down the core of our blueprint, a clear, actionable definition of what leadership actually is. I want you to forget about titles, forget about authority for a second. What is the real function of a leader?
And this right here, this definition gets to the heart of it. Leadership is about influence, not authority. It's not about commanding people, it's about compelling them. It's the ability to create a vision that's so powerful and so shared that people are genuinely motivated to chase it down together.
Okay, let's move into the detailed schematics. A broad definition is a great start, but to make it really practical, we need to deconstruct it. We can actually break down effective leadership into 7 essential interlocking pillars that give it structure and strength.
I want you to think of these 7 components as the actual structural pillars holding up the entire building of leadership. And to add another layer of structure, we can group these. So, communication and observation, they form our pillar of what we'll call strategic awareness. Decisiveness is the bridge. That's actionable judgment. And then transparency, trust, confidence, and charisma, they all combine to form our pillar of interpersonal influence. Let's break down each one.
First up, communication. And honestly, this is the absolute bedrock of leadership. It's about taking that vision in your head and translating it into a language that really resonates, connects, and gets people moving. Now, here's a deeper cut. You have to actively fight what's called the curse of knowledge. As a leader, you are swimming in the strategy every day, but your team isn't. You have to communicate the why behind the what over and over and adapt your message for different people. Great communicators don't just send information. They create shared meaning, they make an emotional connection, and it's a two-way street. You have to be committed to really listening to what's coming back. Without this, even the most brilliant strategy is dead on arrival. Next is observation, the second part of our strategic awareness. This is about seeing the entire chessboard, not just the pieces right in front of you. A leader has to cultivate this amazing situational awareness, reading the vibe in a room, sensing tensions nobody's talking about. It's also about seeing your people clearly, knowing who's about to burn out, who has all this untapped potential, and how to mix and match their skills for the best possible result. The big trap to avoid here is what you might call ivory tower syndrome, where a leader just gets disconnected from what's really happening on the ground. Good observation is proactive. It's about seeing friction before it becomes a fire and steering the team towards opportunity.
Our third pillar, decisiveness, is the bridge that takes us from awareness to action. A clear vision means nothing if you can't make clear, swift decisions to back it up.
Leaders have to be able to think on their feet and make the hard calls, because being indecisive is never a neutral act. It creates this vacuum of uncertainty that just erodes the team's faith in the mission and in you. A really powerful way to think about this is the OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, and act. Great leaders just cycle through that loop faster and better than everyone else. They get the data, frame it within their vision, make the call, and then go. Hesitation is a strategy killer.
Okay, now we're moving into interpersonal influence, and we start with transparency. This is not just about being honest, it's about deliberately creating a culture of clarity. That means being open about strategic choices, the good, the bad, and yes, the ugly. When you share not just your wins, but also your failures and what you learn from them, you create psychological safety. And that's what encourages your team to take smart risks and be honest about their own challenges. A key trick here is to default to open. Just assume information should be shared unless there's a really compelling reason not to. This builds an environment where feedback isn't seen as criticism, but is a vital part of the team's collective brainpower.
Pillar 5 is trust. And trust is the glue that holds everything else together. It is the absolute foundation of followership. But here's the thing you have to remember. Trust is never a given. It is always, always earned. It's the direct result of consistent honesty, transparency, and just being reliable. Think of it like a bank account. Every action you take, every promise you keep or break is either a deposit or a withdrawal from your team's bank of trust. And leaders are always being watched. The biggest mistake you can make is assuming you have trust just because you have the title. You don't. You earn it through your character and your consistency, day in and day out.
This leads us perfectly into our 6th pillar, confidence. And what's so powerful about this slide is the connection it makes. We're not talking about arrogance or being cocky here. This is about earned confidence. Your team needs to feel that you're competent, that you're composed under pressure, and that you're sure-footed in your vision. As the quote says so well, unearned confidence is just obvious. People see right through it, and it actively destroys the trust we just talked about. Real confidence isn't about having all the answers. It's about having faith in the process and in your team to find them together.
And our final pillar is charisma. Let's be really clear about this. This is not about being an extrovert or the loudest person in the room. Real charisma is this powerful mix of strength, charm, and presence that persuades and inspires people to act. It's that energy you can feel that makes people want to be part of what you're doing. But the most evolved form of charisma isn't about you. It's not just about drawing people to you, it's about using that connection to see their potential and actively develop them into leaders too. The most charismatic leaders create more leaders, not more followers.
So there you have it, our 7 pillars: communication, observation, decisiveness, transparency, trust, confidence, and charisma. But you know, a list of parts doesn't make an engine run. A blueprint is pretty useless until you actually build something with it. So how do all these pieces come together to create a truly effective leader? The biggest takeaway here is that great leadership isn't about mastering these 7 skills in a vacuum, like you're just checking off a to-do list. It is about weaving them all together into an authentic, integrated whole. They all depend on each other. Your communication has to be transparent if you want to build trust. Your decisiveness is just reckless without careful observation. Your charisma is totally empty without the substance of earned confidence. You see, mastery is understanding these connections and knowing how to apply the right pillar with the right amount of intensity at exactly the right time. It's a dynamic dance, not a static checklist.
And that really brings us to our final thought. Every decision you make, every conversation you have, every email you send, it's another line being drawn on your personal leadership blueprint. You are building it every single day, whether you're thinking about it or not. So the ultimate question isn't just what makes a leader. The real question is, what kind of leader are you building? What will your blueprint create?